The world will witness more than one monumental election every month, and the election season begins with Bangladesh. There are concerns over free and fair elections, and democracy is at stake in our eastern neighbor as well. It has larger global implications. Will Bangladesh elect a pro-China government amid China's rising footprint in the Indo-Pacific? That is what we'll all be looking at. Take a look.
মানুষকে ভোট দিতে দেবে না, নির্বাচন বন্ধ করবে, এত সাহস কোথা থেকে পায়?
The world's longest-serving female head of government is set to extend her rule.
উন্নতি হচ্ছে।
Bangladesh will go to the polls on January 7th, and most likely, the 76-year-old Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina will emerge as winner. With the main opposition parties boycotting the poll and many of their leaders in jail, the ruling Awami League is all set to be re-elected for a fourth straight parliamentary term. The Bangladesh Nationalist Party, or the BNP, the main opposition party, says it has no faith that Sheikh Hasina will hold a free and fair election. India will be watching closely as the strategically important Chicken's Neck runs between Nepal, Bangladesh and Bhutan. It links northeastern states to the rest of India. The area is of great strategic importance, with China just around the corner. While India would most likely want the Awami League government to continue, the US will keep its focus on Sheikh Hasina, as it has been quite critical of her rule. With Vishal Vivek, Bureau Report, NDTV.
And NDTV is live in Bangladesh. Saurabh Gupta is on ground zero joining us from Dhaka. Saurabh, while there are a lot of concerns over free and fair polls, the BNP boycotting the elections, but what is the mood on the ground? Are people hopeful of a free and fair election?
Well, that depends on who you ask that question to. And of course, there are always two conflicting views and two conflicting opinions depending on, the allegiance that an individual has. But given the fact that there are going to be elections, there are certain, of course, standards of democracy that are going to have to be met. And there are observers and there are, of course, a lot of journalists, that have flown in to cover these elections and to really keep an eye on these elections and the questions that you raise. Now, obviously, there are a lot of people who feel that, the idea of a caretaker government is not something that perhaps is viable. There are some who feel that free and fair elections without a caretaker government is not possible. The Bangladesh Awami League, which is in power, which is the incumbent government, is definitely against that idea. The BNP stressed on that idea and said it would boycott the polls if that didn't happen. It didn't happen, so the BNP is not really in the fray. So it is an interesting election to watch, and really what we've been talking about also is that Bangladesh is really setting off the election season, if one may call it so. There are elections in so many countries. Bangladesh amongst the first in 2024 to go to polls. Of course, many believe that the results in these elections are a foregone conclusion, predicting a victory for the Awami League led by the incumbent Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina. And also, there are several other factors, the economy, all of those things are something that people are keeping an eye on, improving people's livelihoods, incomes. All of these things are going to be factors when people go out and vote. The other interesting thing about the Bangladesh elections is, remember, like in India, we have, of course, a counting date, which is usually a day or two after polling ends. But in Bangladesh, the counting starts soon after polling, and within the next couple of hours or next 5 or 6 hours, you have a fair idea of who's winning the election. All of that is there. Tomorrow, of course, there's a very important briefing by the Bangladesh Election Commission on, how these elections are being conducted, what are the practices that have been put in place. We were just hearing the ambassador, Masud bin Momen, the foreign secretary, who gave us an idea of what these elections are going to be, how they are going to be conducted. So it's an interesting election to watch, and of course we at NDTV will be bringing you live reports from Dhaka, from Bangladesh, as this election gets underway. The elections are on the 7th, and of course voting will go on the entire day till 4 o'clock in the afternoon, following which counting will start here and we will know the results.
Okay.
This is also an important election for the entire region. So you'll have other countries like India also closely watching this election. Bangladesh is an extremely important partner for India, and therefore a lot is at stake, not just for Bangladesh but for the neighborhood in these elections.
Absolutely, a lot is at stake, Saurav. As you said, some concerns there as well.